Yeah, like if you say gotcha lustat litkis, the black tiger is running, is what you're saying in English. But if you say gotcha lustat litkis, you're basically saying just the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Gotcha lustat litkis or gotcha lustat office. Gotcha lustat hagakis or haggis or whatever you want to say, making a sound. See, this is where you can, this is where you know what to use, okay? Does that kind of answer your question, Gary?
Yeah, it makes it a little clearer. I'm sure I'd have to hear it a few times and usage.
You don't even, you can say, Soha lustat humbis, the black pig is eaten. But this just saying this is changing this. This is a the when you change it. But remember now, you don't have to go through all these steps, but just kind of, this is just naming a tiger, gotcha lusty. But you just,
Wouldn't it be when, you know, like somebody asks a question, say, for example, there are many different color pigs you were talking about. And so when you're going to describe which pig you're talking about,
you can do that.
Lusty, right? Okay. Also, I got a copy made for me because I have to see it in black and white. And so I've been reading it over and over, and it is helping me to understand it a little bit better.
Well, that's good. That's what you have. You know, to learn this, it takes a lot of self-study. Because I had to learn this too. It just, you know, I had to learn this too. And then that's how I learned to read. And see, speaking and reading and writing is two different worlds. It's two different worlds.
Okay, now they can see me.
Okay, it's two different worlds. I can speak, I think, as well as anybody else. But when it came to reading and writing, I had to learn this. And it took a lot of hours to learn it. And you know, people thought that just because I could speak, I could read and write. No, that wasn't, no one told me, no one taught me this when they were teaching me how to speak. But I knew how to put word content in everything, but I had to learn this. And it takes a lot of time, and that's why I tell people, you know, it takes a lot of self-study to do this. Yeah, it should. That's a typo. Just forget. Nugget.
So gotcha lustat, you would say when it's the subject, like gotcha lustat sokha hatki asijis, right? But if it's the object, like you wouldn't say, like if I see a black tiger, would that T become an N? Would you say?
Well, you can say gotcha lustat. He just.
But you have to put an N instead of a T.
Yes, I'm looking at the black tiger. Or like she said, like there's a bunch of pigs out there and they're saying, Ishtawadin, which one? You would say, Sokha Jadat. Manjayastos.
But if I see the black tiger, how would you say that? Since it's the object, would you put an N?
Say it again.
Would you say gotcha lustan hijas?
Gotcha lusta. I'm looking at the black tiger. Hijas. Gotcha lustat. Hijas.
You still would use a T. Okay.
Yeah, but you couldn't say gotcha lusty. Well, you can lusty. Hijas. But if you say, and I'm looking at the black tiger, you would say that. The gotcha lustan. Lustat. Hijas. Okay. So you're not bunayaga, Randy. Not in Hui bunayaga. You know, Kifida Dundoya in Hui. Hocheda, especially. What says 100, Heathen wanaya hanchinoa, yangita handonsis. You know, because I'm not putting get that under as what's that's going
Who's it?
what's that's going
Okay. ¿Cansada?
¿Ah?
¿Cansada?
Me duele un poco la espalda.
Okay. The definite articles a and and are formed by adding a T to the end of the adjective. For example, gotcha lusty. Daskus, a tiger that is black. Adding the T to the long E is shortened and add ni. Gotcha lusty, leakus. Example, gotcha lusty, a black tiger. Adverbs are the same words used as adjectives. Adverbs are the same words as adjectives. Adverbs modify verbs and adjectives. Modifiers used. Wow. Okay. Gotcha lusty, a black tiger. See the indefinite article, and ani are formed by adding D to the end of the adjective. For example, gotcha lusty, a black tiger. Or a tiger that is black. Adding the T to the long E is shortened by adding N. Example, gotcha lusty, a black tiger. Adverbs are the same words used as adjective. Adverbs are the same words as adjective. Adverbs modify verbs and adjectives, okay? Right here, adverbs modify verbs and adjectives. Adverbs are the same words as here you go. Modifiers used as adverbs keep the long E and have a ni ended. For example, buff neat. Buff neat is an adjective because it is describing. Buff neat is an adverb. Okay, who's confused here? This is something that y'all going to have to go over and over and over. Because I did. I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the mornings and go to work at 8 o'clock, get up at 6 to learn this. And that's why I know there's a lot of self-studying. Because like I said, I'm pretty fluent. And I can't say I'm as fluent as elders are. I'm not a master at this. I'm not a master. I just speak the way I was spoken to. And I speak since I was born. I was born with this language.
Mhm.
So, like I said, I don't know, I didn't know how to read and write. I had to relearn this. I had to go to school for this. It was hard. I went through a lot of sweat and tears, I tell you. I about gave it up. Okay, so this is what they are. Gotcha lusty, a black tiger. Adverbs are the same words used as adjectives. Adverbs modify verbs and adjectives. Modifiers used as adverb keeps the long E and have a ni ended. For example, buff-neat is an adjective. Buff-neat is an adverb. Any questions? You can say, gotcha buff-knot. The black tiger that is fast. Gotcha buff-neat. Buff-neat, leakus. This is saying he is running fast. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here it is. Gotcha lusty. Buff knot, leakus. A fast black tiger runs. Gotcha lusty. Gotcha lusty. Buff knot. Likis. A fast black tiger runs. Gotcha lusty. Whoop, typo. Buffnon, Likis. Buffni, Likis. Gotcha lusty, Buffni, Likis. A tiger runs fast. A black tiger runs fast. I gotta correct these things. Mvskoke sentences are not bound by the same rules as English, because it ain't English. It's not English. So the rules are a little different, but this is just showing you how to change these endings right here. Okay? It just shows you how to change these endings. The Mvskoke language has a unique ability, now listen, ability to shift. To shift as speakers of the various dialects determine proper usage. As elders for the proper use of that area of dialect variations.
Mvhayv, that second, right there at the top, those first two sentences, you said buvnot, and then you said buvni. So both are correct then? Okay.
The endings both are correct.
Because I've not heard buvna being used. I've always heard buvni.
You're saying the black tiger, you're right here, it's saying black tiger, buffnot, the fast black tiger is what you're saying here. Right here, a fast black tiger runs. See? Here you're saying, gotcha lusty buffni leakis. You're saying a black tiger runs fast here. With the not, you're saying a. Here you're saying buffni runs fast. Right here. And you know, this is where it's kind of confusing with the Mvskoke language, because and God knows how I learned how to use future, present, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. I don't know how I picked those up. I don't know how I did present, past, future, the way I speak. You know, I could say gotcha lusty buffnot leakis, a fast black tiger runs, but I can say gotcha lusty buffni here leakis. But that tone is saying not just fast, it's saying really fast. Buffni leakis. And you know, my granddaughter was batting one day at a ball game, and I said, "Indagnafkas." I could have said, "Boko yikchi nafkas." That says hit the ball hard. But if I said, "Boko yikchi indagnafkas," see, hear the ending? I would have said, I'm saying, hit his ball really hard. See, hit that ball really, you know, that's what I was saying, nafkas, instead of saying nafkas. So she turned around and I said, yichin in nafkas. And I said, nafkas though. And she turned around, looked at me, put her thumb up, because she knew what I was saying to her, you know. And then she put her thumb at me like this, and this was in front of people. Well, I had everybody looking at me, you know. And she was just 6 at the time. Well, she's 12 now. She's 12 now, but she knows. And now she's a pitcher. So I say, Buffning en Vegas. En Vegas. Buffning en Vegas. I'm saying throw that ball at them fast.
Mvhayv,
But if I say Poco buffning awagas. I'm just saying throw the ball fast. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mvhayv.
Uh-huh.
The last time I got to see my Uncle Bill
Uh-huh.
running in a pet meet,
Mm-hmm.
we were at the senior games in Albuquerque. And
Uh-huh.
so they were getting ready to run their 4-man relay.
Uh-huh.
And so they all got ready and Dakoi, you know what? So Boa, Buffning Litkash,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so when I said that, my aunt, his wife, said, whatever you said, I hope that helps. But they took first place and they broke the record that day. And
You know, that's see how I said that? If I said pitch the ball fast, throw the ball fast, I'll say Boko, Buffning, Vegas, throw it fast. But if I say Ayan Vegas, I'm saying throw the ball at them fast, at that pitch, at the batter fast, in Vegas. See, this is how language changes. And this is kind of what I'm doing here, trying to get this across. But, you know, it just takes a lot of, I stared at this for days, trying to get this into my brain. Once you get it in, once that light comes on, it comes to you, but to get it, I mean, it took me forever to learn this. And then I was like, okay, so I started putting my words together. And every time I spoke, I would break it down. What am I actually saying in English here? What am I actually saying in English? And that's how I kind of figured out what this was, okay? Here we go. Adjectives and adverbs in Mvskoke are very descriptive and add emphasis. The next section lists adjectives. Adjectives also use personal pronoun prefixes. Aji, me, that's should be un. G is you, bo is we. Okay, this one should be un. VN. I had to get this paper and print it off, so there's some mistakes on here. So this is G is you, second person. Bo is we, 3 people. Us is boom. Us, this is my. Jin, Jim. Like right here. Your, in, his, her. It's, okay. I gotta, this and I'm gonna have to fix myself. Colors and numbers are adjectives. Colors tell which one, what kind, numbers tell how many. Here are example of adjectives and adverbs. It's up. Jofi buffnat daskis. Jofi buffnat daskis. Here we go. This is where we're using those Jofi buffnat daskis. The fast rabbit jumps. Remember that other sentence? Jofi buffnat. The fast rabbit jumps. Okay, here we go with knee. The rabbit jumps fast. Jofi buffni daskis. Is that making sense to you now, what we went over? The fast rabbit jumps. Jofi buff not. The fast rabbit daskis jumps. Right here is saying the rabbit jumps fast. Jofi buffni daskis. This too shows exactly what we was going. Okay, what we was talking about. This is saying, buffnot, the fast. Jofi buffnot, this is saying the fast rabbit jumps. Here, It's saying, Jofi Buffney, this is saying the rabbit is jumping fast, jumps fast. This is where the this is where that not and need come in. Are you understand?
A little bit at a time.
How about you, Ella? Is it coming to you?
Hidimahis.
Okay. Anybody else? I got to chat here just a second. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So this is where y'all need to. This will be on your page. You need to study this. Okay. This needs to be studied, and it takes a lot. Believe me. Okay. Look here. The happy red bird sings. Fushjadi, afachgat, yahagis. It's saying the happy bird is singing. But here, Fushjadi afachkin, yahagis. The red bird sings happily. Now this is all present tense now. The D and the ni determine place of adjectives and adverbs. These two letters are not the same as a nominative and objective for the nouns, which determines subject and object. This sentence is poetic in a way it is written, read, and spoken. Ijo anattat. Anattadit ilis. The wounded deer is dying. The sentence shows a play on words. Gonofambi os. Osafki gamoksin. Homebox. Gonofambidos means the skunk is stink. Osafki gamoksin homebox. They're saying somebody ate sour. This is past. Homebox, remember, this goes back to the rules. Unks means past. Osafki gamoksin homebox. He's saying somebody ate sour sofkie. The skunk is stink and he ate sour sofkie. This is one of the things that it's Indians. Remember I told you Indians can change, tones can change. So this is where this hopefully will kind of help you if you just study it, you know. And it helped me when I studied it.
Mvhayv?
Yes, ma'am.
The sentence, these two letters, yes, ma'am, these, I lost it. I'm sorry. It said these two letters are not the same as and I can't remember the rest of the sentence. I didn't understand what that sentence meant.
Which one?
And it's not on the screen at the moment, but it was.
How far did we go back?
It was. I think it's down farther. It said the word nominative.
Okay.
Nouns. It's not the same as the subject, and I didn't understand the sentence at all. Just to be open, but this is really helping going over it again. I had studied it before, and then I just obviously, I really appreciate you going over it again because I needed to do that. I think.
Yeah, this. To me, helped me. Like I said, I could speak, but I didn't know. Right here.
No, put it down.
So instead of saying like Kachalash, we say Kacha because that's just black tiger.
Yeah.
But if we say Kachalash, then
The
we're
black
saying
tiger.
the black tiger.
When you're saying the black tiger, this one right here.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
E and the N determine place of adjective and adverbs. These two letters are not same as a nominative or an objective for the nouns, which determines subject and object. So they're not like English to a point, you know. So the D and the D, this is Mvskoke right here. the D and the knee right here says ijo lusta dit ilis. And this is where it's right here. Buff not, buff knee. Determine place of adjective and adverbs. These two letters are not the same. See? Neen, ah. So, buff not. It's saying, this is describing the adjective, okay? Jofi,
Okay.
buff not. See, it's saying the fast rabbit, buff not. This is your subject, and it's describing the this is showing the action. Is that kind of clearing it up, Amy?
I think so. I think I'm going to need to sit with it, to be open.
Yeah.
But it's a great lesson, and you know what? It just takes me a little while these days. And I did study this before. I loved this lesson because it was like the Rosetta Stone explaining everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love.
Might
this
not be
lesson.
close to Rosetta Stone. I ain't nowhere near that. But see, this is a subject, Jofi. This is saying this is describing the fast one. It's jumping. Okay, right here, it's saying this is a subject, buff knee. This saying is jumping fast. It's describing this too, but it's all action right here. The rabbit jumps fast. Jofi buff knee. So that right here, it says not the same. See, they're not the same here. Which determines subject and object. There you go, for the nouns, which determines subject and object. Okay, this sentence is poetic. Does that kind of explain it to you, Amy?
Yes, I think I was complicating it.
Really mind-blowing to a point. I don't know how many months I stayed on this, because I went to school 2 years just to learn to read and write. And I don't know how many times I went over these papers trying to get it into my head. And I thought, I don't need to learn to read and write anyways. I don't need to learn to read and write, but I had to. That was one of the reasons why I took classes, was to do this, and I'm like, okay, so if I can speak, that's good, And when it says this sentence is poetic, the wounded deer is dying. Ijo anatadit. Anatadit. Ilis. The sentence shows a play on words. Okay. Ijo anatadit ilis. Says the wounded deer is dying. It said, it's exactly written in English the way it sounds. Ijo anatadit ilis. Okay, kono fambit os. And see right here, some people speak in different areas. I say kono fambidos. I separate the D, O, C, but some of them says kono fambit os. And I always say kono fambidos, and it says the same, it's just the way it's said. They're added the D to this and fambit os. But I say kono fambi dos. I separate, make this separate. Osafki, kamuksin, humbaks. The skunk stink, and that he ate sour softy. Okay.
Mvhayv?
Yes, ma'am.
I hate to keep asking you to go back, but looking at this, the word for wounded, would you say haramaga?
Anatadit. And this is actually saying like, in English, it would be like saying, how could I put this? Trying to find a word that'll fit that. Disabled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Disabled.
Well, it's just that I'm not hearing that ending sound. And
Anatadit. Anatadit. And that's like saying the disabled deer is dying. Anatadit.
Mhm.
But we can say inukadit, the sick deer is dying. Or we can even say inukadit, the hurt. Inukadit is the sick deer is dying. Or we can say inukadit, the hurt deer is dying. Instead of saying the disabled deer is dying. They're making, when they say poetic, they're not saying the deer, the sick deer is dying, or the deer that was shot is dying. It's saying the disabled deer. Okay. And to a point, our language is poetic. Like I said, sometimes our language is not as harsh as English. Sometimes, sometimes English can be really harsh. And we can discipline a child in Mvskoke with words that ain't as harsh as English. And that's one thing, my daughter, and I think I told this story for my daughter, my first, the one that I keep now. She was touching the CD player, and her mother was going, don't, quit, leave it alone, don't push that button, don't. She was just playing with it, punching these buttons. And I said, hey, baby, Vegas. I said, Chilayat, Vegas. I said, Chihan, ho do we go? I said, baby, quit touching it. You keep getting in trouble. They're getting on to you over it. Vegas. So she just comes over there and crawls in my lap. And she was just a toddler then, because she was hanging on to stuff to do this. And my daughter turned around and looks at me and says, Mom, does she speak English? Can she understand English? I said, ask her. See, she listened to me, she got away. But man, she would not get away when her mother was telling her, quit, don't do that, don't touch that. Do not touch that. But she just kept at it until I said, Bibi, Jihan, who do we go? I said, Chilayat, Vegas. So she walks over to me and just quits.
Mvhayv,
Uh-huh.
we used to have a dog that understood Creek.
Huh?
We used to have a dog before I was even a teenager. We had this little black and white dog called Spooky. He didn't understand English, but Grandma was always talking to him in Bonai, So Uncle Bill and Uncle Jack, they had gone to college, and when they came back, we had this dog, and so they said they saw him walking down the road, and they were yelling at him, and then finally Grandma said "Adios," and he just made a U-turn and came right back, and they turned around and looked at her and said, "Does he understand English?"
Well, we had a dog named Ifa. And when it was a puppy, my grandbaby kept saying, Ifa, Ifa. Every time she saw it, she'd say, Ifa. It took it as its name. So when Mvskoke people came over, and we'd say, my granddaughter would say, Ifa. And they would say, y'all know that is a dog, don't you? But she, it got used to her saying that word, Ifa, to him. So he took that as his name. So we had a dog named Ifa, dog. And then, now we got, we had another dog, and they'd say Humbas, and it'd go to his bowl. So they know, they learned. It's just repetition, just like speakers learning. It's repetition. So how do you say hello?
Stay.
Is it, yeah, he's stay or he's stungo. And I went over that and over that, because y'all know there's no good morning, but why do you say, how do you make it through did you make it through the night okay? It's because I've been over it and over it with you. That's how it retains. Okay, look here. Woo. Greeting and responses.
Maya, I just got tickled in my head. I thought, well, I guess what you're saying is if a dog can learn to speak this, then we can too. Please.
Well, if nothing else is spoke to a child, learn. So was a dog. Like Ella, her mother, that's all she could speak. So she just spoke to the dog. And it had to be some physical response. So like our dog, when we said humbus and had the food, that showed that it was time to eat. See, it showed that food and humbus. That dog connected it. That ain't what I said either, Amy. Words of my mouth.
I know. You know I'm a troublemaker. That's why we're 3,000 miles away.
In my class, I tell you that.
Good to be in it.
Now here we go. Now remember I said sounds. Hitsa. Hitsa means look. Hello. Hinche. You all right or how are? Look at these sounds broke down. Istungo. Istungo. Mon chinda. Mon is Ann. How about you? Look how these are broken down. Now these are sounds, guys. There's two things y'all need to do is study that paper, study your sounds. Look here. Estunges os. I am well. I am all right. See these sounds? Estunges os. Those are all in your sounds paper that we were going over. This is where you get tone and you're pronouncing the word the way it needs to be. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. And you know, some people, I don't like teaching sounds. I don't like sounds being taught. Well, my experience was that some people said, Fujo. Fujo, there's no such word in Mvskoke language as Fujo. It's Fujo. Sounds needed to be, to me, sounds need to be taught. Okay, look here. China hamgalgi istungon fulla. That's all it is, a sound. If you can read this, if you break it down. Body and one okay around? Because this is literal. Remember, y'all want it literal. China is your body. Hamgalgi means in one body. One body. Istungon fulla around. This is okay around. This is literal. Okay, literal. You know, I had a Bible verse that they needed translated. It was Chronicles. And so, but I translated the Bible verse, but literally, it didn't mean exactly what that was. So I translated to what it really meant. And see, Bible is like that. So I was doing that. So this one is saying, Jina is your body. Remember, Jana is my body. Ina is their body. Jina is you, second person. Jina hamgalgi. Jina is your body. Hamgalgi is one, in one. Istungon fulla. Does that make sense? It says the family, and you know, family comes from one body. Did y'all know that? Now, who was smart? Who was smart? These Mvskoke people said, okay, family comes from one body.
What does Jistoa mean?
Jistoa is what's happened. What happened to you? Jistoa. Okay. Is that it's Jistoa. G is talking about second person. And that goes back to all those rules I gave y'all in the beginning, because this is where we was going with it. And I had to put them in line to actually, so y'all could, and y'all might have to go back over it. You know, go back to your previous lessons and then come back, okay? Istungon for list. They're around, okay? Hobidagida. How about the kids? Hobidagi is kids. Duh. How about? I got some more lessons coming in now. I just haven't got them emailed out. I mean, to this computer yet. Good around. Heathen. Here we go. Look here. Heathen. For list. Heathen is good. For list around. Okay. Heathen for list.
So, Mvhayv, a lot of people, well, I've heard several people, and when they're saying good, if they're just saying the word by itself, good, they live off that Ian sound and just say Heathly.
Heathy. Heathy.
Okay.
Okay, but now let's go back up to your adjectives and stuff. Heathy. Heathy for this. Okay.
Mvhayv, can you explain that Heathen Fullest, good around, that's a response to a question or what?
Yeah, well, we doggy says, how about the kids? Says, how about the kids? And they say he being fullest.
Okay.
Good is he being fullest. And they're saying they're going around good. They're going around good. Fullest means it's
Okay.
literal. You want a dictionary for fullest? Yeah. Fullest is like they're around, going around. Okay, going around. Heathy means they're good. G plus istoin plus I. This is Randy Scoble. G equals you. That's second person in pronouns. Full enough to go, to be about, go around, or wander. That's fullida. This is derived, fullest is derived from fullida. That's an infinitive verb because it ends in ida. But when you say fullest, you're saying they're going around, okay? Fullest. Okay, does that kind of answer your question, Gary?
Yeah, I guess I needed to hear it in usage there as a response to this question. How about the kids? Yeah, I had to make that connection there.
Yeah, this is like responses. To go about, plural, is what Randy Scoble is saying. We lugida, okay, we're gonna go over, we lugida is for two people, but we lugida means like to go about, okay? Athida is to go around, okay? So, okay, jihijagat, ofunidat. We're gonna study this dot later on. I got it typed up and everything. I just need to send it in. Ho chihijagat. I haven't seen you. Chihijagat. See, there's the G. Chihijagat. Haven't. Ho funidat. And you got to put that tone in there. Chihijagat ho funidat. Haven't seen you in a long time. It is. This is literal. And Chihijagat means I haven't seen you. Hofuni is long time, dot. And that's just the expression like hofuni dot. You know what? There's a lot of old words that I was looking at here, and I'm gonna put those up here just to show y'all what language used to be like. I got a lot of old words, that I've picked up along the way, like hatofa, cheers. And those old words, they're not used anymore. And my mom used it on me, and I thought, and I was like, and you didn't tell my mom. When I was being a speaker, I couldn't tell my mom what is that or ask. She would have just said, "Kithitchugo, you don't know? You should know that." And to the day she died, she got onto me for saying softy. She said, "Softy dogorondos or softy dos." She said, "It's not softy, it's softy." And one day I said, "Softy no setsa." She said, "Softy no setsa what do is?" She said, "Oh no, softy no setsa." She said, "I don't cook softy, I cook softy." Because I said softy. I asked her, "Did you cook softy?" She said, "I don't cook softy, but I cook softy." And that's a kind of that's how, I don't know how we learned all this. I don't even know. But I've had people told me that when you first were speaking, in fact, when I was getting married to my husband, his aunt said, "Oh my gosh." She said, "I remember you when you were about 4. She said, "You were fluent. Do you still speak?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And she spoke to me in Creek, and we started speaking, I don't remember it. I mean, I was 4 years old, It says, "Chihijaga hofonida, chitskida. Istungo. Your mother, is she fine? Your mother, is she okay?" Because this saying chichki, your mother. Istungo. Okay, chichkida. How about your mother? Istungo? Your mother, is she fine? But I say istungo and lega, is your mother living okay? Because lega means said it. Because it's derived from legida. Okay? Whew. This is getting intense here. Okay. Look here though. Here we go. Don't go and lectos. She's sitting okay. Literally, this saying lake, this is legida. This is short for legida. It's don't go and lectos. See, I didn't put the is on here, but this is regular speaking. Don't go and lectos. All right, live is. Oh, mercy. Okay. All right is dongon. Lake is either setting or live is. Dos, remember, is a filler, dos. Chiskida, your father. How about your father? Imongos. Imongos, still the same. Still the same.
So, Mvhayv, you draw that out just a little bit.
Imongos. Yeah, you can say still the same. Nothing's changed. You can put that tone in there and say imongos. And that's how we spoke, when my mother was living, we never spoke English, so we would hold a whole day. No matter what we talked about, we talked in Mvskoke. We don't have that anymore. And I miss it. And that girl that was in here with me the other day, she said, "Now, Becky, you may have to help me because I'm up here." And she says, "I have no one to speak to." She said, I may forget some words, and you do. And she said, Ishcholoki hakiwede. That's an old word. Ishcholoki hakiwede. She said, I'm not start speaking, start mixing it with English. And she did, and so did I. She said, Ishcholoki hakiwede. Choloki means putting it out, but mixing it up. See, that's another word. Ishcholoki. Ishcholoki hakiwede, Magan. She said, and I said, well, that's okay. Because she said, both of her parents were speakers.
Mhm.
In fact, her dad was a medicine man. He was a medicine man. And they all knew how to speak Creek, but see, where she hadn't been around it. She said, Ishcholoki hakiwedes. I might start speaking English with it. That's what she told me. And she did, but so do I. So do I. Haram Chihijafis. I will see you again. Okay, see this? Chifki. Imongos. These, you can cut these down. You can put these into sounds and have your pronouncing really well.
Mvhayv, your story reminded me of my parents who were both fluent speakers, English, Creek being their first language. Dad was raised traditionally and yet the ceremonial grounds and all that. Mom was raised in the church. And so once Dad joined the church and started learning the Creek hymns, there were Creek hymns that she had to teach him, even up into their adult years, because he didn't hear those songs when he was growing up.
Well, there's still some hymns that I haven't heard. Okay, that Randy Skull was a jalupki mixed, according to Edward Marshall and Mvskoke word of the day on Facebook. Jalupki is like mixing cake mix, jalubas. Dalek jamba, jalubas, or dalegi jalubas. That's mixing something. Ishcholoki is an old word saying mixture of speaking, vocal. But jalupki, jalupki is like to mix something up. Like they'll say, Mama used to say, jalubas, dalegi jalubas, mix the bread up, jalubas. That's a different mix than ishcholoki. Okay, does that kind of make sense to you, Randy?
Yeah, it just sounded like they might be related, but you were saying something.
Ishcholoki is like mixture of different languages, but now jalupki means like bread dough, cake mix, something that you mix up. As far as liquid, like bread dough, cake mix, stirring something, but it means mixing it, like as in bread dough, I guess, cake mix, jalupki. That's what that means. Okay, jalupki.
I thought maybe they were related, but yours has more O's in it. He was using V, but.
Well, jalupki is a whole different word from ishcholoki. It's a whole different word. It's a whole different word. Ishcholoki.
Is that how you spell it?
No, ishcholoki. So see that jalabida. Ella, can you back me up on that? Jalabida is to mix like bread dough, cake mix.
Yeah. That's a cooking term.
Yeah, that's a cooking. Well, yeah, she put it right there. It's a cooking term. Jalabas or ashi jalabas. Mix the tea up. Yeah, that's what that is. Does that kind of make sense to you, Randy?
Yeah, I'm just curious how the other one, the Ishcholoki, would you spell it different than I did here?
Ishcholoki.
With no P in there? It's just a K?
Ishcholoki.
Just a minute.
Jalupki is like mixing, like she said, kind of like a cooking term, like, or even tea. Jalubas. That's a command. Ishcholoki. It's got to have an H right here. Ishcholoki. Ishcholoki.
Where would you put the H?
Hey, let me see. I just lost it.
There you go.
Okay. Right here, Ishcholoki. Jalupki, you know, he's right. Jalupki is mixing though. He's right. Edwin's right. It's just mixing something together like tea or Kool-Aid.
I was gonna say Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, yeah, that's what I tell my kids. I'll say Kool-Aid jalubas, because we don't have no word for Kool-Aid. So my daughters will say, okay, what kind? You know, and Kool-Aid jalubas. That's because that's where jalubida is an infinitive word, infinitive verb. Jalubas is a command. Mix the Kool-Aid. Okay. Okay. Asiskika, sun measure. Asiskika di hukulat. Kuyanibiga. The little clock says 2 minutes over. Are you behind us? I gotta go. Now Friday, I'll be here Thursday, I think. Friday, she's gonna teach. Desiree's gonna teach. So if y'all have any questions, y'all, you know, she's learning too, and she may understand this stuff. Because like I said, some of these things can't be explained in English very good, because it's not English for one thing. It's not English. It's the Mvskoke Imbonagadondonga. Doors right, yeah. Okaye chida yikchirundo. It's hard to explain it sometime. So, y'all guys, we'll see ya.
Mvhayv, real quick, she's been helping me with the sounds.
Cool.
And those two syllables where you have the sounds, a, you know, whatever. And but when she was explaining it, I was able to catch that, and it helped me in my reading to be able to.
Well, you know, you never get enough of sounds, because even me as a speaker, I don't know all the words yet. I still have a hard time sometimes, you know, especially pronouncing some words. I know what I'm saying, but I'm pronouncing it, it's even hard to do it for me sometimes. And then if they ask us the questions right off the bat, we'll say, oh, let me think about that. We'll forget, you know. But in our office, that's all we speak, you know, for between three of us. That's all we speak. And that keeps us going. And I really feel for that girl that had that was talking, and she said she didn't have no one to speak to. But when she calls me or I call her, that's all we speak is Mvskoke. So Ella, you hang in there. Randy, Amy, just hang tight. The light will come on.
Widow.